Those in the Kruger National Park, said to be the jewel of South Africa's national parks, are in trouble. We know that. The park's rhino numbers have dropped by about 70% during the past 10 years, largely because of poaching and its knock-on effects for breeding and calf survival. All of that's according to a new assessment from South African national parks. I want to talk now to Pelham Jones. He has a critical voice in this debate. He is chairman of the Private Rhino Owners Association. Mr. Jones, good afternoon to you and welcome. So on the table, I know you don't speak for the Kruger National Park, but the numbers, 70% down in the past decade, are concerning. It says that in spite of some improvement last year, poaching continues unabated and uncontrolled.
Jeremy, thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and your viewers. Yes, as you state, I'm not in a position to comment on the situation within Kruger, so I will talk in broad strokes. We, refer to us as the Rhino custodians, that is, in other words, private sector, provincial and national, have suffered this terrible onslaught, which has cost us billions in terms of loss of asset, loss of production from these animals, as well as the unintended consequences, in other words, security costs, loss of human life, and so we can carry on. So this tsunami, as I referred to, or like to refer to it as, continues unabated. We have seen some decline in figures of the recent years. The situation certainly is far from being resolved.
My understanding is that private rhino owners are responsible for about 50% of the population in South Africa. What are your members, what is your constituency doing differently to protect the species?
Well, Jeremy, the private sector don't like to lose assets, and I think we're therefore much more responsive and reactive to threat and the need to mitigate against that threat. So if you analyze the landscape, in 2014, the private reserves owned about 25% of the national herd. Progressively, due to excellent biological management as well as excellent security initiatives, the private sector are growing their population to the point that, as you correctly pointed out, we are well over 50% of the national herd, and we've achieved that in a very short period of time. If one analyzes the poaching losses, if we theoretically have the 50% that I'm quoting, one would assume that 50% of losses would go down on private reserves as well. Well, the figures show differently. In 2019, we in fact lost some 90 odd animals of the 590. In other words, that was 15%. The recently reported figures by the minister of the 394 animals that went down as of December 2020. We, the private sector, lost less than 10%, even though we owe 50%. So in other words, we lost 37 animals went down on private reserves. It shows that from a security point, we're doing an exceptionally good job.
Let me, Mr. Jones, pick you up on that security perspective then. If you're looking at the national herd, what is needed to improve the situation? Is it more people? Is it more money? Is it more guns? What is needed?
Well, that's a tough question because it's a multifaceted answer. But we need to look in terms of long-term to reduce the demand, the product. We've seen various demand reduction campaigns. We've seen prohibition. So effectively, more guns, more boots, I don't believe are going to be the long-term solution. It certainly will help to reduce poaching pressure. We know that. But has it stopped it? No, it hasn't. Exactly the same as any international ban or prohibition. We have to look to alternative measures to try to meet that end-user demand, because the profiteering via this illegal utilization is so huge that there are billions and billions of rands, dollars being made. And we believe that one of the solutions is to meet that demand through a regulated and transparent supply. We, as South Africa, sit with over 60 tons of rhino horn that is, inverted commas, rotting in safes. Yet for every rhino horn we sell, we can reduce poaching pressure on every live animal. And that is our strategy. That is what we've been trying to achieve, both domestically and at CITES, for the last 6-9 years.
All right, Pelham Jones, before the meter runs out on Zoom, I am going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us, Chairman of the Private Rhino Owners Association.